Today, over 7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's, and 60,000 of those are Iowans. One chapter of the Alzheimer's Association held their annual fundraiser tonight to help in the fight to end the terrible disease. Tonight was the Alzheimer's Association Iowa chapter's 32nd annual Wine and Roses Festival at the South Sioux City Riverfront Marriott. There, people gathered to show their support of the Iowa chapter's mission of leading the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia. The association is known for leading the charge in Alzheimer's care, support, research, and advocacy through its resources, education, and fundraising. Guests enjoyed a multi-course meal, wine from all of the winemakers, as well as a live and silent auction. All of the money raised tonight will go toward the Iowa chapter, who continue to bring hope of a world without Alzheimer's.
We have the first ever FDA-approved treatments that actually treat the underlying biology of Alzheimer's disease. It provides real hope for people if they receive that diagnosis. In addition, there's better ways than ever to detect it or do some early screening to really try and stay ahead of the disease.
KTIV's Matt Breen and Jessica Bowman were the masters of ceremonies for tonight's event.